blob on the end, but never mind. Like that. Would you like to watch me do this summery makeup on my nearly 70-year-old skin? Then please keep watching. So for this summer Get Ready With Me, I'm going to start with the IT Cosmetics Your Skin But Better Foundation Plus Skincare. It's quite runny, but I do like it, and I've sort of rediscovered it because I sort of forgot I had it. It feels lovely and smooth as I apply it. And I'm going to get a slightly dampened beauty sponge. I'll just pick up the rest. And I'm going to gently pat it. Now, as I do this, I must warn you that my left eye, so this eye, is behaving very strangely at the moment. Well, I know what's wrong with it. I've got a condition called entropion, and I'm going to have a small operation on it in early August. But in the meantime, what it's doing is turning inwards the rim of the eye so that my eyelashes, my bottom lashes, are touching my eyeball, which is an absolute bore. But luckily it can be corrected. So at some point, well, in early August, I shall be going in to have the procedure. Now, luckily it's a day case and I'll be out and I'm just going to be sedated. So I'll be able to come home later that day. But yes, it's going to be a bit of a bore and I won't be able to wear makeup for 2 or 3 weeks, which is a bit of a disaster. What can you do? So there we are. We've got the foundation on, and as you can see, it's quite dark. I hadn't realised that I'd chosen quite a, well, what looks like quite a deep shade, really. I mean, it does go with the rest of my body, and it's in the shade Cool, Medium Cool 34. But I do like the shade. I think it's very summer appropriate. So, and it's all gone from my hand. So that application of one pump was really enough, I think. Now, the next thing we're going to do is use this concealer, the IRL Filter Finish by Revolution. And most of the makeup I use, apart from the IT Cosmetics foundation, is going to be drugstore, because actually quite a lot of my drugstore makeup is very summer appropriate, which is good. So let's just carefully, we don't want too much, just dot this here. And I tend to like to use my little fingers first. The ring fingers, I don't find it that easy. Oh, actually, I didn't really mean to go onto my eyelids, which I'll tell you about in a minute. I'm going to avoid them, actually. So let me just pat that now with a sponge to set it, and then we're going to set it with some setting powder. Now, that IRL Revolution concealer is very reasonably priced and I really like it. I'm not going to bother putting concealer on any other. I mean, I have little marks here, but really what's good about this foundation is it is skin-like and it doesn't cover everything up. I think it says it's light to medium. Right, so let's set the concealer with my trusty Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Finish powder. So we'll just apply that here. We're not going to touch the eyelids because we're going to be using a liquid eyeshadow, so we don't want to contaminate it, as it were, by putting any concealer or powder on the eyelids. The next thing we're going to do is use the Thick It, Stick It by NYX on our brows. This is a very good drugstore product. I would say it's probably a bit thicker than the equivalent high-end that I also use, which is the Huda Beauty Bomb Brows, I think they're called. So let me put this on. Come closer so you can see what I'm doing. So the first thing I tend to do is just swipe. Well, maybe swipe is slightly the wrong word, but wipe, maybe that's the best way to describe it. Oops, there's a big blob on the end, but never mind. And then we're going to do the fluffing up bit. So we'll fluff up. Oh, more blobbing. Never mind, we can get rid of that in a minute if it's a bit too dark. So a bit of fluffing on either side, like that. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to use this lovely Armarni Eye Tint, I think it's called. All the details of everything I talk about will be down below in the description box. So this is a liquid eyeshadow, which I bought last year in Sephora when I was on holiday. And what we're going to do is we're going to put that on the lid, and then I'm also going to go in with some powder eyeshadow above in the crease just to kind of give it a bit more depth. Now the other thing I need to do when I'm applying a liquid eyeshadow is to get a brush ready to spread it out, because otherwise it can look a bit smeary. And we've got the trusty brush. I'm going to pop it on and just spread it so that it spreads evenly, because with my elephant hide eyelids it can look quite smeary, so we don't want that. Ah, there we are, that's better, isn't it? That's better, there we are. Probably not a good idea to leave the lid open for very long either. And I'm also going to go in with some powder eyeshadow above in the crease, just to kind of give it a bit more depth. I'm going to use, because we're sticking to as many drugstore products as we can, I'm going to use the E.L.F Rose Gold Nude palette. And I'm going to dip it in. I think we'll go in with this colour here. And then we're just going to come up above just to kind of soften. Oh yeah, that's good. The next thing we're going to do is use a brown pencil. Now I'm using the L'Oreal retractable, I think it's called La Liner, which I think they've discontinued, but they've got a new version of it. But as I say, everything that I can link below, I will. But to be honest, any brown pencil will do for this eye makeup look, I would say. I don't want this video to be about makeup you need to purchase. It's more about the look that you can get with the products that you've already got. So let's get hold of this pencil. And what we're going to do is we're going to draw a line across here, fairly close to the lashes. And then I'm going to immediately smudge it with my finger like that to soften it. I mean, you could do the same thing with a cotton bud as well, actually, but you can see it looks a lot softer now. So let me do the other side. And then immediately I'm going to smudge it with my finger. Now you could actually get a similar effect if you put a powder, dark brown powder on top of the eyeliner. So you can see we've kind of smoked out the eyeliner, as it were, to make it softer. Now the next thing we're going to do is mascara, and I'm using my Sky High Maybelline mascara, which I absolutely love. I really think that this is my favourite drugstore mascara. And I've had this for a good few months, if not a year, and I do think it's a really excellent mascara. Very difficult to talk and put mascara on at the same time. There's one coat. Now that's just with one coat, and I'd say that's pretty good, but let's just add a tiny bit more, because we're not going full va-va-voom here. This is a light summery makeup. Okay, now we're going to use another Revolution product, another drugstore product, which is the Revolution Base Cream Blusher. And we're going to carefully apply, and I'm very cat-handed about this. I'm going to carefully apply it here. Again, this is a fantastic drugstore product. I'm in love with it. Just so easy to apply. And it's the drugstore version of the Merit, I would say. So I don't know whether I really need bronzer, but just because we're doing a summer makeup, I'm going to use my NYX Matte Bronzer, which I bought last year. I went a bit bonks on bronzers and bought rather a lot. And then I didn't really use them all that much, but I do like this NYX one. So let's apply some of that. I haven't yet to find a good drugstore bronzer, because again, the ones that you can get in the States, we can't seem to get here. So, but that's a pretty good colour, I'd say. It's not too orangey. And although it's not a cream, I don't think it matters terribly. Now, of course, actually what I probably should have done is put the blusher on the top. So do you know what I think we might do? We might add another really good drugstore, although Korean product, which is this Afternoon Tea Eye Meme, I think it's called. And what I tend to do is I use this Sephora brush, this nice angled brush, and I tend to swipe across like this and then apply. So actually this is a bit of a different colour to the Revolution Base blusher, but not to worry. And there we are. I think we've got a nice sort of bronzed goddess look. Okay, and I don't think we're going to go with highlighter because I think we've got enough of the sort of translucenty, pearlized look from the IT Cosmetics foundation. Now for lipstick, I think we're going to use this pink blush, I think it is, by number 7, which I've barely used, but it looks very nice. And so, and let me just check the colour. Yeah, it's quite pinky. Look at that, it's beautiful, isn't it? So we need a nice pinky pencil, and I think we'll use this. Is it Velvet? Yeah, Velvet Pompadour by Lisa Eldridge. Let's use that. Oh, I've got enough here. I'm just going to highlight. I'm applying it all over the lip. Just like that. The idea behind putting the pencil on, followed by the lipstick, followed by the powder with the blotting in between, is to make sure that your lipstick stays as best it can, even when you're drinking your evening Aperol spritz. So here we go with the lipstick. Look at that. Gosh, that really glides on. That is absolutely beautiful. Very summery. Okay, so now we're going to blot. Now what we're going to do, this is a new technique. I was going to blot anyway, but Sandra Salin, who is my new best friend on YouTube, and if you haven't seen her, I'll put her details down below for you. She's actually incredibly active on Instagram, which I've only just realised. And she has a huge following on Instagram. What she suggests is actually halving your Kleenex and then blotting rather than using the whole Kleenex. So that's what we're going to do. Okay, so we've blotted. Now we're going to get some loose powder. So we're just going to take a tiny bit. And what that has done is just mattified the lipstick a little bit and to stop it from transferring onto your glass. So there you have it. That's my summer makeup for women touching 70. I really hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you have, I'd be so grateful if you give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel and leave me a comment below. Let me know whether you think this makeup is suitable for us nearly 70s or over 70s. I think it's nice and light. I think you probably could get away with just a blusher. You might not need a bronzer, but I really do like using the liquid eyeshadows. And I think the Maybelline is just a brilliant mascara, and it's not my usual heavy duty kind of bristly brush. It's actually a rubber brush, but I really like it. And like I say, all the details of everything will be down below in the description box. And thanks again so much for watching. It means the absolute world to me. It really does. And as I record this, I'm nearly at 1,500 subscribers. Oh, so exciting. And I look forward to seeing you very much on my next video. Bye.